Leonard Eugene Leedy was born on February 13, 1933 in Butler, Ohio, to Leonard, Dell, and Florence Kunkel Leedy. Young Gene grew up on a farm where they always had enough to eat because of their garden, but there was little money for anything but the bare necessities. Getting a soda pop at the country store was a special treat. Gene worked hard doing his chores, but he had a definite fun-loving side. His younger sister Marin recalled that they used to both hand-milk cows side by side in parallel stalls. Gene had the uncanny ability to squirt the milk over his cow and spray his unexpecting little sister in the face. During his years at Belleville High School, Gene always enjoyed sports and did play on a very successful football team. His senior year that had 8 wins and only 1 loss. But his sports opportunities were limited because of his need to work long hours on the family farm. His high school girlfriend was Geraldine Klepper, who was Belleville's 1939 homecoming queen. After graduating from Belleville High School in 1940, Gene went to work at the Tappan plant in Mansfield. In early 1943, he was drafted into the Army, completed basic training, and then was transferred to Manhattan College in New York to take the Army's Specialist Training Program. He excelled in the testing, and then he was sent to Aberdeen, Maryland to study cryptography. With the U.S. now intensely involved in World War II, Gene, along with 18,000 other recruits, took the Queen Elizabeth on a 5-day boat trip to Scotland. He was stationed in London, where he served as a cryptographic technician. Many a time Gene had to hit the floor when the air raid sirens went off and the German V-1 bombers or V-2 rockets rained down their explosive cargo. After the fall of the German army, Gene was transferred to Berlin. He had fond memories of his World War II experiences. He saw castles, European cities, and other sights he would have never seen otherwise. However, the war was not without its effects. Shortly after his return, he was walking outside with his sister, and a near car backfired. Gene immediately dove to the ground, face first. Then he slowly but sheepishly got back up again. After returning from the war, Gene married his high school sweetheart, Geraldine Klepper. On January 11, 1947, they were married by Reverend Joseph O'Morrow in Norwood, Ohio. The couple honeymooned in the Smoky Mountains. They remained lifelong Belleville area residents and had recently celebrated their 65th wedding anniversary. Gene dependently served the Tappan Company 44 years, first as a line worker, then piecework and electronic work. He did just about everything for the appliance manufacturer. Gene had a quiet but strong faith and was an active member of St. Paul Lutheran Church in Belleville, Ohio. He formerly served the church as a youth group leader and usher. During his retirement, Gene was never one to idly sit around. He enjoyed gardening and fishing. His occasional fishing trips up to Lake Erie were the most memorable times. He was active with his card club for nearly 60 years and enjoyed an evening playing pinochle, poker, or euchre whenever he could. When family came to visit, he always challenged them to a game or two of pool and table tennis. Being an avid sports fan, Gene was a strong supporter of the local high school teams. Gene will be remembered for his constant love and dependable support of his family, which includes his wife Jerry Leedy, a son, Steve, and his wife Lori Leedy, and a daughter Becky and her husband Al Szymanski. He was especially fond and proud of his grandchildren. They are Lane, Allison, and Ryan Leedy, as well as Lauren, Philip, and Bethany Szymanski. He is also survived by a sister Marion and her husband Clyde Bowman, and a brother-in-law, Lloyd Hall. Gene had a kind and generous heart, but because of tough financial times of his youth, he was very thrifty and always insisted on paying his own way for everything he did. Being proud of his Leedy roots, Gene was an active trustee for the Leedy reunion, faithfully mowing and maintaining the grounds of Leedy Park for most of his adult life. On November 23, 2012, Gene passed away at the age of 89. He was buried at Owl Creek Cemetery, Ankneytown, Ohio, where the local American Legion post held graveside military honors. It is significant that 4 Leedy generations that immediately preceded him are also buried there. Leonard Eugene Leedy was a man committed to his family and dependently served his country, church, and community.